A very great morning to you watching Western Television, wherever you're catching the show live from your boss Welcome. And today happened to be Thursday, 11th of May 2023, 26 minutes past around over 7 a.m. You're most welcome. It is Kokoliriko Live. And we're coming to you live from the broadcast house of Western Television, both owned, that is Zuku Satellite Channel 0073 and StarTimes Channel 477. And not forgetting the YouTube page of Western Television and also Facebook page. We are all coming live, in those platforms. And also do not forget that you can as well follow us using the Twitter handle of the television. You can as well follow my personal Twitter handle, and that is Oringi Francis 11, and that is the handle right there, and you will be able to get the name Denis, or you will be able to get the name Oringi Denis right there. I will be with you till the hour of that is 9 a.m. in the morning, and then that will be the time I will be getting out of the studio. But you have to know that I will be able to give you stories, both local, national, and international stories right here, and not forgetting also giving you sport highlights, what you need to know in the world of sports this morning. Before that is 2 p.m. to 3, where Fudribo Owen together with Lady Susie and Benson, they come through to make analysis of what is happening in the world of sports. And my work is to bring for you the news that you want to know, and also making some few analysis in what is happening, socially, economically, and also politically. And so when it comes to political analysis, I can also be able to give you each and every information that you need to know about politics in this country, and also politics in Africa, politics in the world, because without politics we cannot survive. I have to tell you that each and everything is being driven by politics. And so there are a group of people who always say that I don't want to get involved in politics. There's what we call passive politician and also active politician, and so majority of us, we are just passive politicians, and so we do participate in politics when it is that time for election. Then we get to know that it is politics time. But I have to tell you that each and every time we are already in politics. And somebody did say that politics is not a dirty game, only that the people practicing politics are the one dirty. And so politics is one of the ways of life. And so are you aware that this morning at your home, if you're watching us live from home, you are practicing some elements of politics right there? Because before you leave, what are you supposed to do? You have to plan together with your family members. You have to leave something for your wife if you're a gentleman. If you are a woman, you have to really inform your husband where you're going. And that is all politics. And what are you going to do in the due course of the day, and how shall we come back home, and how are we going to eat supper, how much money do we have, and then how are children going to stay, who is staying with which child, is the maid ready to work with us? You always have these conversations, and these are all politics. And so I need to tell you this morning that in our daily life we live political life, and so we cannot run away from politics. And that's why I am here to let you know what is happening politically at the local level, national level, and at the international level, because these are driving factors of our life, and so we cannot run away from them. And so we have to continue living. And so when it comes to time of election, we just now practically implement the theoretical parts of politics, and that's why we get to elect the LC1 chairperson. We have to elect the LC2 chairperson, the LC3 chairperson, and the councillors, and also the LC5 chairperson and the councillors. And also we have to get the representatives who are supposed to represent us at the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. And also we have to get the head of state, and this happens after every 5 years. And so that is a different types of politics as well. And so the day-to-day politics is what we cannot run away from. And here in the studio, I have to tell you that I'm also here doing politics right here. And so am I dirty? I am not dirty. And so we cannot really continue to have a notion that politics is a dirty game. It's not a dirty game. The people practicing politics are the ones who are dirty. And so allow me to say that this morning. And so if you practice your politics to bring somebody down, pull her down, the PhD that we always talk about. You want to practice your politics to kill somebody. You want to practice your politics to really cut ties for somebody if you have seen that the person is doing well. And so that is what we call bad politics that we should really get rid of, and we should not really continue involving ourselves into. Those who are catching us live within Arua City, thank you very much for joining us this morning, and thank you very much for choosing Western Television sub-region this morning, and those who are catching us live from West Nile sub-region in all the 13 districts that we do have in the region. We do appreciate you very much. I cannot be able to mention each and every place that we do have here in the region, and not forgetting those who are catching us live from Asholi sub-region or Shonining, Kutiko Pinino Martin, Amira Tinkarman, mi Joli, a program, Magilwoni, Kokoliriko, Yamapa West Nile television, Watika, Bino Bori, ni Aki, Zuko satellite channel 00, Bera, Deka, Shelki, Star Time channel, Angwen, Abera, Beru, Mani Ramobedi Carmilo, ni Aki, YouTube page, pa West Nile television, Ma Ramobedi Carmi, Choyo, me, West Nile television, YouTube, Kenyo, Gamberi Carmi, Kelly, Church Makigoro, near West Nile television, Kachelki logo, Mani Beri Carmi logo, program Kokoliriko live, Kudiko Pinino Martina, ni Joma Tika Lowaki Facebook, Wamira watching wa former tech, Choma Megu, Kudiko Pinino Martina, Dharma Kintika Lowaki, Twitter, Wajani, wa former tech, Choma Megi, Kachelki, for West Nile television, Kudiko Pinino Martina, Biberi Carmi, Tingo, Kingo, Manotika Time, Tada, Kachelki, Manotika Time, Ilobo Uganda, Man Kilobo Mawaho Bene, Man Manotika Time, Mitoro, Aberi Carmi, Kora, Mio, I like Mitoro, Akachawa Bor, me, Chawa Bongwen, La Dirt Erford, Owen, Kachelki, Lady Susan, Manki, Benson, Giberi Carmi, Yamo, Iri, Kingo, Manotika Time, Ilobo me sports and Aberi Carmi, Nuti, Manotika Time, Uganda, Batuma, Kachelki, Manotika Time, Uganda, Long, Man Kachelki, Turo, Manotika Tuke, Lubuma Waho, Eberi Carmi, Man Dog, Eberi Carmi, before you Makwe. And the Jumuteka and Anakudi district, me, Pakwash, Nebi Zombo, for you, I Mamuku, Ganapin Numatin, Jumuteka and Anakudi district, Matongtong, wa for you, I Maperi, Man, wa for you, I Karashelo, West Television, for West Television, Watika Bino Iri, I Kudi, Zuko satellite channel Tongwena Bera Deka Karashelo Star Times channel Angwen Abera Bero ma Iberu Karemi Nano television West Nile TV eno kambido mogo kede banongite iye irombedu Karemi Wani I kudi YouTube pa West Nile television kama wote kani kelo iri program atongtong manongo waberu Karemi nyuto iri ni I kudi YouTube man Karashelo ko Facebook ni jomote kani lobo wakudi Facebook de wafoyo I muko gwena pinu matin watingu ngo lembene ni chalo lem tugu ento lembe matira ma waberu Karemi nyuto Abiberu Karmi Youth Lambango Mutika na Timre Tadara Mamuaka Rachel Kulambango Manongotia na Timre Ngome Uganda Itenge Midongo pa Ngom Uganda Kulembe Matongtong Manongotia na Timre Kubang Sawa Aberu Karmi Youth Rikoni Kasawa Neromo Man Bedkungeshnia ya Abiberu Karmi Youth Lambango Mutika na Timre Tenge Mitugu nuke ni Tuchkin Misawa Ariok Daki Kapirangwen ni Tusawadek Mabiberu Karmi Youth Wie Lembe Mamako Kum Lem Tugu enuke Kudi Itadara Rachel Kulem Tugu Uganda Man Kulem Tugu Ngoma wako de Iberu Karimi non kudi lock station mamegi wako be tap West Television or Iberu Karimi Youth lambaji check ma uteka na timre. All right, dear viewer, allow me to start right this morning with some of the news that you have to know in regards to some of the local stories that we have for you this morning that you have to be able to get acquainted to before maybe you go for your work. For those who are catching us live from their living room, we do appreciate you very much, and you have to know that tomorrow is going to be the International Nurses Day for our country Uganda. So nurses and midwives that we have in our country Uganda, they are converging right here in Arua, and so the celebration will be at Muni University, and that is where they are going to have the national celebration, and President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is expected to come and grace the occasion. And I have to tell you that the activities ahead of the Nurses and Midwives Day are ongoing, and so they started with cleaning Arua City. That was on Tuesday, and so yesterday they converged at Muni University to make preparations for the day, and today they will continue with some public lectures right there in regards to the lives of the nurses and midwives that we do have in our country Uganda. And so tomorrow will be the D-Day where they will be able to have different speeches that will be communicated to them right there. And so as Western Television, we shall also be able to cover for you that particular event. And we shall be able to give you the highlights during our programs and also during our news hour. That is the Nilecast that comes every Monday through Monday from there over 7 p.m. every evening, and so make sure that you really mark that particular time when it reaches 7 p.m. and you will be able to get to know what is happening in regards to the international day for nurses and midwives, and for our country Uganda. The national celebration will be here in Arua, and it will be taking place at Muni University, and so that is something that I felt it is important that I should also be able to bring to your attention this morning. Away from that, dear viewer, let's get to Asholi sub-region, where Minister of State for Economic Development Development, Beatrice Akello Okori, has warned local leaders to stop politicizing the selection of government programs. Okori, who was addressing locals at Patong Sub-County in Agago District during the commemoration of the World Malaria Day, says the high prevalence of malaria, in Patong Sub-County was greatly contributed, by LC1 chairpersons who used the contribution of mosquito nets to please their voters. And so that is coming in from the Minister of State for Economic Development, Beatrice Akello Okori, who has warned the local leaders to stop politicizing the selection of government programs and also other government programs right there. If my producer can give us the full story reported by Stephen Okello from Gulu, we would be able to appreciate very much. Let's have more on this particular story done by Stephen Okello.
In the last disbursement of mosquito net by Ministry of Health in Agago District, those who did not line up behind the current LC1 was not registered among the beneficiaries, as these local leaders were using these government programs to appreciate those who voted them in office.
I would like to urge all the local council who have been elected by people through lining up. We have got concerns that they've been politicizing government programs like mosquito net distribution. If you have not lined behind those who have gone through, it will become so difficult for your name to feature in the list of beneficiaries for mosquito nets. Therefore, I urge these healthy ones, stop politicizing government programs, government projects for your political gain.
Agago County Member of Parliament, Lagen David Atura, urged district leaders to keenly follow up the registration process of these government programs to ensure politics is not put inside again.
So it is a responsibility of these local leaders to be fair to the citizens, to distribute whatever is given to them equally without discrimination.
Meanwhile, locals are saying high prevalent cases of malaria in Agago District, especially in Lamio and Patong Sub-County, are a combination of factors.
When they see you, they can't not advise you, they just bypass. And you know that the malaria of somebody is too much, or you know the malaria of somebody or whatever is too much, whereby they need to be helped. Some other extents, they normally write for you, and they may write, they may say that, okay, we have received your whatever your status like this, like that, so you need to get a Panadol, or you get a Cotem, some other extents whereby you can go alone. You can they can say that you come tomorrow.
You may be given those tablets, and people always fail to follow the instruction, the prescription given by the health workers. So they don't use the drugs given to them perfectly. So they only fail to use the time. At times, some people might be taking the drug 1-2 days, and then to complete the full dose given, they always fail.
This came after the official from ministry announced the forthcoming countrywide distribution of treated mosquito net. According to Matovu, Ministry of Health is planning to decentralize the distribution exercise of this mosquito net to the grassroots.
The distribution of mosquito nets was launched in Wajiri on the 25th. So we are going to receive mosquito nets in Agago this year. But the way we implement this distribution, we do it in waves, and Agago is in the 5th wave. But there's a number of things that have changed, and this information goes to the district leadership. We have decentralized the implementation of this net distribution campaign. That means that the district is going to actually implement this campaign.
Okero John Powell, the senior health educator at Agago District, expressed with concern the high prevalence of malaria cases in the district.
Percent. He was leading with 85%. Then Patong Sub-County is having 79%. That is actually one of the reasons why we chose Patong to host this World Malaria Day celebration.
Despite various interventions by government and civil society organizations like QUAM, the effort of this local community in fighting malaria at household level is still lagging behind.
Health facilities should also follow. They need to do test and treat, storage of medicines, health education of patients, of the clients on malaria prevention. It has to occur at the health facility.
As Uganda joined the rest of the world in saying fighting malaria is a collective responsibility, local at Patong sub-county are urged to take the fight against malaria at household level. Stephen Okello for West Nile Television Nilecast.
All right, thank you very much, Stephen Okello, for that report that you have really given us. And we do appreciate you very much for the work that you are doing on behalf of West Nile Television, the other side of Ashuli sub-region, and giving us each and every information that you want the members of the public to do. And I think as local leaders, we need to take this seriously, not only for the local leaders that we have in Agago district. This should really go to all the local leaders that we have in our country, Uganda, also here in Western sub-region. Please, the local leaders, let us stop politicizing these government programs. And once the program has been rolled out, the programs have been rolled out to benefit all the Wananchi. Whether you subscribe to NRIM, you subscribe to National Unity Platform Party, you subscribe to FDC, you subscribe to other political parties that we have in our country. And so anything that government has really rolled out, it has to be implemented the way the government has really planned to be implemented. I love what the Resident District Commissioner of Kokoliriko said the other time during the time of the launching of the disbursement of the parish revolving fund, when he says that even if Joseph Kony was to be here in our country, Uganda now, he can also benefit from the parish development model because he's a citizen of our country, Uganda, despite maybe his actions during the LRA insurgency, but still he is a citizen of the Republic of Uganda, and so we cannot deny him because he is a rebel, or he was a rebel by that time. And so those were words from the Resident District Commissioner of Kokoliriko. And this should also go to all the leaders that let us not segregate when it comes to rolling out government programs. When you talk about poverty, poverty can affect all of us. So if you have a community where people are poor, even if you're a rich person, let me tell you, you will also begin behaving like them. And so there was a Mosaic who was asked that, why are you sponsoring each and every child in this village? The Mosaic says that I'm sponsoring these children so that in future they will not disturb my children and my grandchildren. Remember, having people who are not educated in your area and you're the only person who is educated, you will never get peace in that area. So what are you supposed to do? You have to make sure that all of them, at least they go to school and they get to understand how things are done in the world. And so that was the response from that Mosaic when he was asked, why are you sponsoring each and every child in this community? The Mosaic says, I want them to be better so that in future they will not disturb my family, my children. And that is the way to go. And so if in a village you only want government programs to be for some few individuals in that village, let me tell you, those who are not beneficiaries of these government programs, there will be headache in that community. So you have the the heifers, for instance, given by government, and you also have goats that were given by government, and your neighbors are not having goats. What are you going to see? You will see the same neighbors stealing your goats that you are bragging with, because you never informed them about the government program. You never catered for them during the time that you were doing registration. And so for our leaders, let us cater for each and every person in our village when it comes to government program. Currently, what the government is doing is registering the names of those who are supposed to benefit from the mosquito nets. And so I have heard that there are some people who are not being registered basing on the political affiliation. There are some people who are not being registered because they are not friends and relatives to the else one person, and that should not be the case. Register each and every person, because if malaria, kills a person in that village, you as LC1 chairperson, you have to contribute money to bury this person. And so how much are you going to spend to bury somebody who has died of malaria, in which if you had registered him to benefit from the mosquito nets, he would have not died of malaria. And so if we do our analysis indeed in that direction, we shall be able to really curb certain diseases and also certain issues in our society, in our community, and that is the way to go. Away from that, let's come back to Arua City, and you have to know that the business women in northern Uganda have been urged to take advantage of the opportunities that are still untapped in the northern region. And so the appeal was made to the women recently during the Northern Uganda Women in Business and Investment Summit organized by Uganda Investment Authority, where they were able to invite one of the successful businessmen that we do have in our country, Uganda. I am talking about Patrick Bitature. Let us have more on that particular story.
Patrick Bitature, a Ugandan businessman, entrepreneur and philanthropist, has urged the business women in northern Uganda to tap on the business opportunities that are still untapped in the region. Patrick made these remarks recently during Northern Uganda Women in Business Investment Summit, organized by the Uganda Investment Authority in Arua City, a platform for women in the north to understand the business and investment opportunity available with the Uganda Investment Authority.
Northern Uganda has got so much potential that is still not yet been tapped. Now, the women in Northern Uganda, it's a full engine, like a plane that has two engines. That engine has hardly been touched. They are very hardworking, they've got so many advantages, and they've got such fertile land. Not only the land, they've moved into value addition.
Bitature also implores the women in business to take advantage of the government programs like Parish Development Model.
Timing is right because the government is now supporting them. This program of PDM is fantastic. Mzee, when he came up with his wisdom that let's put money in the parish to make sure it reaches there, he's solving the problem from the bottom coming up. And that bottom-up approach is much better than from top coming down. So I think it's going to make a very big difference. So nobody should be left behind. Let everybody embrace this program. And don't just depend on the government money. Don't depend on PDM. Let's organize ourselves, whether it is in circles, in groups, our savings, with the banks, with Postbank, with UDB. Let's find ways of empowering, especially the women, if we're going to transform our society. It will happen. And this place will be completely different.
The State Minister for Finance in charge of investment and privatization, Evelyn Anite, a convener for the summit, says the business forum provides both financial and knowledge business support to the women.
And we are providing beyond financial opportunities, but we are also giving them literacy, how they best they can do their businesses. I believe this is going to solve a number of problems because what I discovered today is the issue of the group dynamics.
Market being one of the determinant of business, the summit also was able to make the women understand and network on the available markets for them to sell their products they are dealing in.
Among themselves sharing. This is market access opportunity. They do not know where they're supposed to sell their products, and you're hearing the lady from Jolie from Invisible Women, Invisible Children selling up to Amazon. And this makes the rest of the women who are in business, who were doubting themselves, should say yes. If Jolie is from Northern Uganda, Anite, Hope, they're from Northern Uganda, they have succeeded and they've grown their business. Their turnover is now 500 million. Their turnover is 300 million. Their turnover is 1 billion. They're very excited to become billionaires.
Anite further says the Uganda Investment Authority is on course to roll out the summit across the country.
As we roll it out in the whole country and moving by region, we'll be able to get many more women, owing to the fact that 2 million women, without government investing a lot of energy in making them to come in business, are already in business. So for every 10 business, 1 out of 10, the 9 will all be women.
On industrial agenda, Uganda Investment Authority Director General Robert Mukiza thanks the people of Northern Uganda for giving free land for the industrial park. He says that women in business will be given priority in the park.
One thing that is very critical, and we have to say very critically now, is land in our industrial parks is free. You gave us the land free, government is borrowing to put infrastructure there. You should not pay a cent for land in our industrial parks. So your business industrialists here, you will get land free in industrial parks run by Uganda Investment Authority. So let no one tell you you have to pay to get an acre of land in an industrial park. No, you just have to have a clear business plan. Have clear financing. You show us the source of financing, and the board and the management of UIA will deliver that to you.
Anne Hope Angoyo, one of the leading Arua City Business Captain, tips participants of the inaugural Northern Uganda Women in Business Investment Summit about the investment and business opportunities available in West Nile. Meanwhile, business champion Caroline Oshanda encourages the women to always start small and have passion for their business they do.
Let's explore available opportunities. I said earlier on, there are a lot of opportunities in this region, and the Uganda Investment Authority has made it easier for us. They have given us that book that talks about the bankable investment projects in this region. Let's read that book.
Start small. Start with what you have. Learn to pull each other's hands. Don't grow alone. Let's grow together. Have passion for what you do. Love what you are doing. Whatever it is, that is what God has entrusted you with. Have passion, love it, and do it with all that love. Believe in yourself. People may not believe in you, but believe in yourself, because you know yourself more than anybody does.
Jolly Grace Andrew Willem of Invisible Children Femme tips Northern Uganda women in business to use their life stories to boost their businesses.
All these women have the potential. It's so shameful sometimes when I go to a shelf of a supermarket and I see honey coming from Saudi Arabia, and yet there's actually the best honey is in West Nile. So this opportunity that you have given us, keep us together. Let's create this group of network of women who are doing business in Northern Uganda so that we can thrive. I want to say single-handedly, Susan Moyes is aware, I command the AGOA single-handedly without the support of any government official. But I am representing Northern Uganda with all my products. And when I roll about 5 suitcases in the airport in Los Angeles, the next thing I'm coming back, I have about $60,000.
The Northern Uganda Women in Business Investment Summit was sponsored by Uganda Development Bank, Post Bank, Light for Africa Foundation and Uganda Investment Authority. Denis Oringi, West Nile TV, Nilecast.
All right, we'll be back. You have understood what we mean by doing business here in Northern Uganda. There are opportunities that have not yet been tapped. And if you're a business person, not only a woman, if you're a gentleman and you want to do business here in Northern Uganda, we do still have the opportunities. And so how can you tap on the opportunities that are not tapped here in Northern Uganda? Not forgetting here in West Nile, you have to know that business opportunities here. And so you can really, explore to find what best you can really do in terms of business. And so that is what Uganda Investment Authority can really offer for you. And we do appreciate very much Uganda Investment Authority, and together with Patrick Bitature, who is one of the successful business persons that we do have in our country, Uganda. If you want to know more about Patrick Bitature, then you can really go online and you will be able to read about him. He's one of those who have managed to make Uganda where it is now. His contributions to the development of this country is immense, and so we cannot really take for granted. And he's one of those that are being recognized by government of the Republic of Uganda. And remember the issue of telecom companies here in our country, Uganda, who was behind, convincing the telecommunication companies to come. Apart from maybe the Uganda Telecommunication Company Limited, we talk about the MTN, all the way from South Africa. They had to come through him. And remember, he was one of those that were vending, in the airtime that we used to buy. And so that is just small about Patrick Bitature right there. And so you can still be successful if you use those opportunities that he was able to mention. For those who are here in Northern Uganda, the land is very fertile, very vast, not yet properly utilized, and so you can really take advantage of the vast land that we do have fertile land that we have in northern Uganda to really prosper and also, to become a successful business person here. All right, away from that, let's get back to that is actually celebration, and here we are going to that is Pade district, where the former Aru County legislator Samuel Odonga has decided to hand himself over to police 5 days after the police launched a manhunt for the former lawmaker over allegations of aggravated torture and bribery and robbery in Pade district. And so Odonga, who was part of the pressure, Repair Pipajo, environmental activist group, have featured in social media impounding trucks of charcoal from the commercial charcoal businessmen and giving them out to the local community in Pade and Ketgum districts right there. And so Odonga is one of the members of Repair Pipajo. Repair Pipajo is a local, a group of people, meaning that coming together for the development of our home, coming together for our homes. And so this is the environmental activist group that Odonga is spearheading. And so he was able to hand himself to police to make statement in regards to the statement that was made by police last week in regards to the allegations that have been put on him. And among the allegations that have been put on him includes impounding trucks of charcoal from the commercial charcoal businessmen and giving them out to the local communities. And he has also been accused of aggravated torture and robbery in his home district in Pade. Let us have more on that story from Stephen Okello, who happened to compile for us this particular report in regards to the former legislator Odonga Oto handing himself over to police in regards to the allegations that have been slapped on him right there. Good morning.
Before handing over himself to police, Samuel Odonga says it was wrong for police to issue summons to him because his action was meant to support government of Uganda call for environmental protection.
Here at the Gulu Regional Police Station, I saw on the social media that the police wants me, so I've decided to come. But in my opinion, this is an environmental cause. We are supporting the government position which was issued by the government on the 24th of February 2023, banning charcoal trade in Acholi. So we formed a lobby group called Repair Pipajo, and we have been championing the cause to support the government position.
Odonga felt not intimidated by the allegation of aggravated torture and robbery, call upon government to convene a national dialogue to promote the use of clean energy for long-lasting solutions in the current environmental injustices done in northern Uganda.
We will not accept charcoal trade in Acholi, and it is about time that the government of Uganda calls a national conference for energy, because we will stop this charcoal trade in Acholi. Trust me, we will stop it. But when we stop charcoal in Acholi, the government should provide for people who need alternative sources of energy for cooking.
River Achwa Regional Police Spokesperson David Ongomodong applauded Odonga for acting responsibly by handing over himself to police. He also admitted that the former Aru County legislators has a case to answer in police.
One, there was a case of theft. There was a case of theft against him in regard to the truck of charcoal which he incited, and the local committee, including him, looted the charcoal from the truck. That charcoal could have been to be exhibited at police, but the approach he used was quite very, very wrong, because it was even inciting violence. And definitely as the police, we needed to regulate such kind of actions, because once you make people take the law into their hands, they can easily cause civil disobedience.
However, the police have denied allegation of escorting charcoal trucks out of the region. David Ongomodong foiled Ministry of Water and Environment for issuing directive with a lot of loopholes.
There is no way I can say that the police has failed. Remember, the minister issued a directive, in which, in that directive, I still insist that the role of the police was not clearly stipulated. Which that is one of the challenges that is making it very difficult to implement that directive. Okay, but we are not failing. We are only trying to curtail the interest of these others who are inciting the wananchi against these charcoal dealers. These people, once arrested, must be taken to police. And if there is any case against them, they must be investigated within the provision of the law.
Ottawa launched a controversial approach to implement the charcoal ban in the region in February, using local vigilantes under Repebepe Pacho and environmental advocacy activisms. The group stormed several charcoal hotspots in the region where they destroyed logs and charcoals. Stephen Okello for West Nile Television's Nilecast.
All right, thank you very much, Stephen Okello, for that report. You have heard from, that is the former legislator Odonga Oto, who represented the people of Aru County in Pade District in regards to really protecting the environment right there in Asholi sub-region. And so you have heard from the police spokesperson for, that is River Aswa, regional, police, area right there in regards to the implementation of the directive issued by that is the Minister of Environment and Water. And so I think once you have heard from the two parties, I think there are bigger things that need to be done. Odonga told it say government need to organize what we call the national dialogue on what we call the sustainable energy that can be used as alternatives to the charcoal that people are really trading in Asholi sub-region. And you have to know this, that Asholi sub-region is one of the sub-regions in our country, Uganda, that have got enough trees that currently is really, supplying the people who are living in capital city of Kampala with enough charcoal. And so once this is achieved by this group of people that call themselves Repepi Pajo environmental activist group, then it will be a problem in Kampala in regards to energy for cooking that is supposed to be adopted. So I think it is up to government of the Republic of Uganda to have a roundtable discussion and also organize the national dialogue, as it has been said by the former legislator Odonga Oto right there. And so the Ministry of Water and Environment should also sit down to come out with proper regulations in regards to the directives that they were able to issue, and because police is also getting it a little bit very hard for them to really implement what is being talked about in regards to protecting the environment. How many environmental police do we have in our country, Uganda? How many do we have here in West Nile? Sitting here at Arua regional police offices, and how many do we have in all these districts, whether we have the environment police? Because the police officers who are supposed to be in charge of protection of the environment should be different, and they are called environmental police. So I do not know whether we have enough police officers to help regulate and control the continuous cutting down of the trees and also destruction of the environment that we continue to witness each and every time. The other time, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni did say that people should not really destroy the wetland, and they have to vacate. If not, the boys will come for them. And so how many boys do we have that they can really come for these people? And the environmental police should also be trained to understand what environment means and what is so destructive to environment. And so you cannot send each and every person who is a police officer to go and enforce. They will not be understanding what they're enforcing. You cannot send these police officers who have been in charge of quelling riots, dispersing riots, and also dispersing public gatherings to really be in charge of protecting the environment, because these are two different things that they will not be able to understand. And so I believe the government of the Republic of Uganda will be able to sit down to analyze this. If the problem is the manpower for that is environmental police department, and then more people need to be recruited, more especially those who understand what environment means. Preferably it could be those who perform well in geography, because they understand what environment means. And so mathematicians will never understand what environment means. If you recruit the person to be one of the police officers in charge of of Environment here in our country, Uganda. Away from that, let's get to issues to do with the security operatives from the Directorate of Criminal Intelligence cracking down on an organized criminal gang robbing cars from Kampala City. And so, according to police, the criminal gang also had a garage in Iganga town where they could dismantle and alter the chassis and registration number plates of stolen cars right there. And so police spokesperson Fred Enanga said the criminal gang is involved in a string of motor vehicle robberies in Kampala metropolitan area and neighboring districts. They transport them to their criminal hub in Iganga where they alter them before selling them off. Enanga revealed to the press that operatives recovered 9 suspected stolen motor vehicles and also arrested 9 suspects who form part of a wider criminal gang behind such aggravated robberies of motor vehicles in the capital. And so this is something that you need to know. So is the car you're driving a new car that was imported into a country, Uganda, or that is a car that you bought from a certain person in a certain corridor? Do you have the original documents in regards to the car that you're driving is the question that I ask those who are driving cars this morning. If not, you might be driving a stolen car this morning. All right, away from that, let's get to State House. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has underscored the need to strengthen peace and security in order for Uganda to continue achieving the desired economic, social economic transformation. And so while delivering a lecture of opportunity to 67, police officers under the Criminal Investigations Directorate at the State House in Entebbe, the president noted that insecurity, retards development because businesses cannot thrive. He reminded the officers to always do their work, keeping in mind the ideology of the national resistance movement that is anchored on the 4 principles of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, social economic transformation, and democracy. Right there. 7 minutes past 8 a.m. right on Western Television. Dear viewer, let's go for a break. And when we come back, we still have more for you. And I will be diving into other issues that you need to know here in our country, Uganda, this morning, before you are just taken by surprise about what is happening in our country, Uganda. Let's go for a break, and I will be back.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, I will be back. You're still watching Western Television. My name is Denis Oringi, and I'm glad you're still with us. 10 minutes past over 8 a.m. right here on Western Television. It is Kokoliriko Live. It's a program that comes away every Monday through Friday, and today happened to be Thursday, 11th of May 2023. And so you have to always know the date properly, and you have to know that the students are back home and they're with us. And what are they doing this morning, and how have you planned for their holidays, and what activities are they supposed to undertake as they are home with us is also another thing that I need to really bring to your attention. All right, dear viewer, let us get to what is happening in the in our country, Uganda, looking through the dailies that we do have right here. Let's see what we have in the Daily Monitor this morning. You have to know that heavy rains disrupt Usmit road works, that is in one of the disaster-prone area that is in Kasese. And so the contractors who are working on Usmit roads and the silting of River Nyamwamba in Kasese have attributed the delays in the completion of construction works to heavy rains right there. And so the works which started in March last year were expected to be complete between April and May, while the silting started in June, and the contractor was supposed to hand over in March. And so the district receiving heavy rains at the beginning of March. As a result, the supervisors for Usmit projects have revealed that 33.4 billion, that is the total sum of road construction. By the end of April, they had utilized 14.1 billion right there. But the heavy downpour is affecting the construction work right there in Kasese in regards to the Usmit projects that are being implemented in that particular district. Let's get to that is State House Entebbe, where President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was able to meet a team of persons from that is Sudan. And so President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has renewed calls for a ceasefire in the ongoing conflict in Sudan and warned the army against personalizing the country. And these are words from President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in regards to what is happening in Sudan right there. And so President Museveni met the special envoy of the chairman of the Transitional Sovereignty Council in Sudan, Ambassador Dafla Al-Haji Ali, at the State House in Entebbe, where the two are said to have discussed the conflict that has the region on its toes right there. Quoting him verbatim, he says here that a ceasefire is critical to allow peace, for people to elect their leaders as owners of the country. And so President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has recognized that the country has got owners, and the owners are the Wananchi, the owners are you and I. And so the country does not belong to the Sudan army, it belongs to the people, Museveni tweeted. And so Sudan was plunged into the latest round of fighting on April 4th between the country's national army led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the paramilitary rapid support forces, that is RSF, commanded by his former deputy and a fellow coup leader Muhammad Hamdan Daglo right there. And so the former allies disagreed on plans to integrate the latter's mighty that is rapid support forces fighters into the mainstream Sudan army, which would reportedly weaken him militarily and politically right there. And so the warring sides have repeatedly violated the ceasefire agreements, with the neither side yielding to truce calls by, among others, the United Nations, the African Union, and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, right there. The international media reported strong explosions in the capital Khartoum on Wednesday morning. Reports also point to hundreds of deaths and thousands of persons displaced. Museveni also cautioned Sudanese leadership against sectarianism, and quoting him verbatim, he says here, "I reiterated my earlier advice that they should do away with politics of identity and concentrate on politics of interest." This is what President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni said to the envoy led by the chairman right there. And so He says he on April 17 condemned the fighting as a misuse of force that undermines all progress made through dialogue over the last many months that have really passed right there. And so let's have more from the daily body to this body. You have to know the reasons why all the Kampala sacked the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council Secretary General is something that you need to know. Why exactly Haji Mugalu assumed office in 2016, replacing Engineer Zaid, that is Siraj Kavuma, before becoming Secretary General. Haji Mugalu was serving as Deputy Secretary for Education and Social Services and later Secretary, that is for Social Services at Uganda Muslim Supreme Council right there. And so last Friday, you have to know that the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council sacked its Secretary General, Haji Ramadan Mugalu, ending his 8th year tenure in the converted position. Now, according to the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council constitution, the Secretary General is the Chief Accounting Officer of the Muslim apex body right there. And so during the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council joint session chaired by Haji Muhammad Lobega Kisambira, members voted Muhammad Ali Aluma to serve as acting Secretary General for 3 months. According to a source that attended the meeting at the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council headquarters at all the Kampala, moments after being elected, Aluma took an oath of allegiance and promised to serve in his new position right there. Mr. Aluma, a lawyer by profession, has been working with the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council Education Department right there. Uganda Muslim Supreme Council spokesperson Ashraf Ziwa said the 5-member team appointed by the Joint Session Committee on April 1st discovered that Haji Mugalu was illegally occupying the office because his tenure expired in January right there. So for my brothers and sisters in the Muslim faith, you need to get to understand, more especially those who subscribe to Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, of the development that is taking place right there. And so you have to know that the Secretary General has been replaced right there. Let's get to the relationship between European Union and Uganda. You have to know that European Union has assured Uganda that they will continue to support the country despite the stance on anti-gay bill right there. And so several development partners have threatened to withhold much needed aid to Uganda because of the bill right there. So the European Union ambassador to Uganda, Jan Sadek, says they are committed to and continue supporting the country's development agenda despite their disagreement with the anti-homosexuality bill, which was recently approved by Parliament. And so speaking at a function to celebrate Europe Day in Kampala on Tuesday, you have to know that Sadek said the continuous dialogue with the government over the matter indicates that they have Uganda at heart. And so this is good news, because Ugandans were a little bit worried when the European Union was able to make a statement when Parliament of the Republic of Uganda passed the anti-homosexuality bill right there. And so Ugandans thought that the European Union would be able to withdraw their funding to the country Uganda. And you have to know that many of the programs and the projects that are being implemented in their country Uganda are being funded by European Union. Among the projects and the programs that I can really remember vividly is the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda that has really greatly improved the status of Northern Uganda, received the funding from the European Union. And so if the European Union has said that they will continue to support Uganda, I think it is good news for us Ugandans who are here in this country. Quoting Sadek verbatim, he says the European Union takes a great interest in Uganda. The European Union wants to build a strong partnership with Uganda on the political side, on cooperation and on trade and investment, working with all segments of Uganda society. We have a continuous and broad-based dialogue with the government, and we share the same views in many areas. That is according to Sadek, as he said right there. So he added, but as friends and partners, we also speak out when we have different views. And so there is no secret that we disagree about the new anti-homosexuality bill, which contradicts universal values and threatens the safety and dignity of a group of citizens. And so we believe it is important to be able to have a frank exchange also about such matters. And this is according to Sadek right there. So the comments come in the wake of international bodies and development partners are threatening to withhold much needed, and because of the bill that they say is against their foreign policies and basic human rights right there. So the bloc, the European Union and its 27 member states, is a leading development partner for Uganda, investing millions of euros into pertinent sectors such as infrastructure. And among the infrastructures that European Union has supported is the construction of Atiak, that is Laropi Tarmac Road via Ajumani, town council, is what we cannot really take for granted. And so that is one of the projects, the infrastructural development project that the European Union has been able to sponsor right there. And so they don't only sponsor infrastructure, they also sponsor trade, energy, education, among others. So the European Union has since met President Museveni over the same bill, is something that you need to know. So the current cooperation budget for the European Union delegation is 800 million, and taken together, including the efforts of the European Union member states, Team Europe is the leading development partner for Uganda, and they're saying that they are active everywhere, from infrastructure, renewable energy, trade and investment promotion, to education, gender, culture, and support for civil society right there. So he applauded Uganda's positive role in the region, its progressive refugee policy and advancement in gender equality, freedom of religion, and the fine coexistence between its ethnic groups that we have here. Are you aware that Uganda is the heterogeneous nation, having different ethnic groups, and they speak different languages? So Uganda is very unique. For your information, it's different from other countries that we do have in this world. And so SADC also hailed Uganda for taking a firm stand in promoting renewable energy and commercial coffee growing, and he says that we commend Ugandans and its ambitions on renewable energy, where 90% of the country's electricity comes from renewable sources. And he says, I think that is worthy of some applause right there. And now, Ms. Jessica Lupo, who represented the President of the Republic of Uganda during the function, noted the positive collaboration that exists between government and the European Union, calling it vibrant and strong. And so she says, we appreciate the important contribution and support that the European Union has continued to extend in our social, economic development and transformation agenda in areas that are crucial for the development of the country, such as infrastructure, energy, agriculture, and supporting the country to address key development challenges. And these were words from the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Lupo, right there while attending this function organized by European Union right there. All right, away from that, we still have more for you this morning. Dear viewer, you have to know that on other issues that you need to know here is about the Deputy Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, Thomas Tayeba, rallying the women to help in fighting malaria disease that we do have. And so Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayeba has described women as influential in the fight against malaria and rallied for their support in this fight. Tayeba was presiding over as a chief guest at the belated Women's Day celebration in Busenyi last Friday at St. Kagwa playgrounds. And so the records show that one Uganda dies of malaria every 52 seconds. The government loses 2.4 trillion on treatment of people who die of malaria, is what you need to know. And so he requests women to help in ensuring that mosquito nets are applied appropriately. And so that means that when it comes to the application of the mosquito nets that are being distributed by government, it is women who are always taking charge of seeing that the beds are properly dressed, and so that mosquitoes do not enter to really consume our blood and also transfer the vector right there that really cause malaria. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to fighting malaria, as it has been said by the Deputy Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, Thomas Tayeba, right there. All right, away from that, you have to know that the Minister of Energy and Minerals Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, she has said that they won't back down on oil projects. She was able to tell the East African leaders right there. Remember, currently the East African crude oil project is ongoing from Oima up to that is Tanga. The construction of the oil pipeline is going on. And so Energy Minister Ruth Nankabirwa joined other officials from the energy sector in the East Africa to call for continued exploration and production of oil resources and increasing raising criticism over high carbon emissions. And so speaking during the 10th East African Petroleum Conference in Kampala, Nankabira said, as the world is rife with the energy transition question, the region should continue to exploit its oil resources to caution citizens from energy poverty right there. So the minister's comments come at a time when Uganda is scouting for oil pipeline financing in what she referred as having friends who will finance the pipeline if banks pull out. And so we have seen different banks pulling out. Among the banks that have threatened to pull out is the Standard Chartered Bank. And so we had the other time that the China that China is interested in financing the construction of the East African crude oil pipeline. And so we are waiting to hear the amount of money that will be put by China to say that the East African crude oil pipeline is really constructed. So the different banks that are really pulling out is because of the environmental issues that the environmental activists were able to bring to the attention of the companies that are directly in charge of the construction of the crude oil pipeline from Oima up to Tanga in Tanzania right there. And so that is what you need to know in regards to our oil. It is our oil, and so we have to know whatever is happening with the oil right there. All right, I have to know more stories that we have this morning for you from Parliament of the Republic of Uganda is that government tables 4.4 trillion supplementary request that they have made just yesterday is something that you need to know. So we will be able to get to understand why supplementary budget at this particular time. And so you have to know here that the Minister of Finance has presented a supplementary appropriation bill to Parliament requesting an additional 4.4 trillion to cover extra expenses, for the financial year 2021-2022 fiscal year. And so the Minister of Finance General Duties, Honorable Henry Musasizi, tabled the request accompanied by a certificate of financial implication during the plenary sitting on Wednesday, 10th May 2023. And so according to the appropriation request, the funds will be drawn from the consolidated fund under the Public Finance Management Act of 2015 and are intended to be used for both the first and second quarters of the fiscal year. And so under recurrent expenditure, 620 billion will be allocated to Ministry of Defense, UPDF Land Forces and the Air Force. 193 billion will go towards salaries, wages and expenditures under State House. Additionally, 50 billion will go to Ministry of Education for salaries, shillings 134 billion to the Ministry of Health, shillings 35 billion for salaries under the Electoral Commission, and 228 billion under Treasury operations for salaries, wages and other expenses. Shillings 100 billion will be for recurrent expenditure under Uganda Police Force, and 28.7 billion for internal security organization, among others. The Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, Right Honorable Anita Annette Among, who presided over the House, referred the bill to the Committee on Budget for further scrutiny. And so Among also said that government needs to come up with a clear policy on what items can be spent under the threshold of 3%. And so 3% of the approved budget. And so that is the issue that the Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda is having with the government of the Republic of Uganda, where she has directed that government needs to come up with a clear policy on what items can be spent under the threshold of 3% of the approved budget right there. And so the minister is obliged to seek prior parliamentary approval for any additional expenditure above the limit. And so quoting her, saying that you should bring an amendment, a law that clearly states that what the 3 will be used for. We need to pass the 3% and give a condition that we should bring a law which defines under what circumstances that government can use the 3% threshold right there. Still at Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, remember that is the public house, that is where we should be able to get to understand how government is run. And so more you have to know here that the 2023-2024 budget revised to 52 trillion, and that is according to the information that we have obtained from Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. So government has revised the 2023-2024 financial year budget to, that is a 52 trillion from 51 trillion. And so this was contained in the corrigenda to the budget for financial year 2023-2024 that was laid by the Minister of State for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, General Duties, Henry Musasizi, during Wednesday, plenary right there. And so corrigenda provides for details of correction of errors and omissions under the draft budget estimates for financial year 2023-2024 Management Act, and also according to the revised estimates, items that require an increase in resources include external financing, treasury operations, non-tax revenue, and local revenue. The estimates indicate that government has provided that is 254 billion to treasury operations toward reducing government's liability with the central bank. And then similarly, after review of external financing profile, the draft allocations to budgets to projects have been adjusted to that is 8 billion from 7.4 billion. Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has received an additional 33.3 billion as excess non-tax revenue collected in 2021-2022 financial year. So these funds are expected to cater for construction of staff accommodation, equipment for surveillance, electric fence maintenance, and rhinos translocation to various national parks. And I believe that the white rhinos that were really, taken away from Ajay Game Reserve will be brought back using this particular fund that we are seeing 33.3 billion that has been allocated to a Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities right there. And so Speaker Anita Among referred the corrigenda to the Budget Committee for scrutiny and called on lawmakers to actively participate in the budgeting process. And you have to know that participating in the budgeting process is one of the role of our members of parliament. So you have to know that this is where we should really see the activeness of our members of parliament, and not maybe buying things and distributing. Yet government is supposed to see that these things are in place. And so we have run away from our role as members of parliament. We have crossed to what we are not supposed to do, and because of that, it makes our voters and the wananchi that we serve not understand what government of the Republic of Uganda does. And as Western Television, ours is to make you get to understand each and everything that is happening in our country, Uganda. Also reminding our leaders, more especially the members of parliament, of their role. Some of them do not know even their role up to this particular time, apart from maybe attending parliamentary sessions that we always have every Tuesday up to Thursday, for those who do not know the time or the days that parliament sits. And so you have to know each and every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, these are 3 days that parliament have their plenary sessions, and other days they have their committee meetings, and all the members of parliament have been allocated to different committees that they're supposed to attend, and they have to discuss issues before even the issues are tabled at Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. And so how are your members of parliament participating in those committees? As Western Television, as Denis Oringi, Kokoliriko show crew, we shall be able to dive into those issues, and time will come that we shall also be able to present for you the report cards for the members of parliament that we have in northern Uganda. And when I talk about northern Uganda, not forgetting West Nile sub-region. And remember, West Nile has got around over 40 members of parliament, and we shall also be able to sample their scorecard one by one. And time will come that you will be able to know how your members of parliament are really performing at Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. In regards to this financial year 2023-2024 budget, you have to know that the Kira Municipality Member of Parliament, Ibrahim Samo Uganda, however, faulted the ministry over the delayed presentation of the core agenda right there. Quoting him verbatim, he says here, it has become a practice for government to present documents relating to budget in the last minute. When you, Speaker, announced that on Tuesday we will supply, they ministers come running with the core agenda, making it very difficult for the Committee on Budget to scrutinize because of the times involved right there. And so you have to know that Section 14 of the Public Finance Management Act requires the Parliament to consider and approve the annual budget and work plan for government for the next financial year by 31st day of May. And so remember, by the end of this particular May, we should be able to see Parliament of the Republic of Uganda passing the budget for the next financial year, 2023-2024. And that means that the month of June, it is, the business will not be as usual. That is the time that government will be interested in sweeping of the monies that have not been spent by different ministries, departments, agencies, and local governments that we have here in our country, Uganda. And that is the time that we'll be able to know how much has Arua City been able to return back to the consolidated fund, how much has Nebi municipality, Nebi district has been able to return back to the consolidated fund. I have been told that the councillors in Nebi municipality have not yet been paid. There are emoluments, and so these are some of the issues. And I believe that the finance officer, the accounting officer of Nebi municipality is working on that, because if not, if this money is swept back to the consolidated fund, then the councillors in Nebi municipality will not be able to get their money till maybe next financial year. And this will really affect the council business right there. I do not know the one for Pakwach district and Zombo district. I will be able to have my fingers crossed to get this information right here, and I present them for you. My name is Denis Oringi. It's already 25 minutes to the top of the hour, over 9 a.m. right on Western Television. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we still have more for you, and I will be diving into what we have in the world of sports right there. But before that, I will be able to let you know other information that you need to know in regards to the late State Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, the slain Member of Parliament for Yam North, retired Colonel Okello Charles Engola. Remember, today his body will be airlifted to his village that is in Oyam right there. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we shall be able to give you more information that you need to know. Have the best of your morning for this while.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
You have to know that yesterday Bull FC was able to take on Arua Hill in the world of sports. I have to let you know that the game ended, a goalless draw. And so the game was played at Fufa Technical Center in Njeru, is what you need to know in regards to the game played yesterday in the Uganda Premier League right there. We still have more in the world of sports this morning. Allow me to tell you that about this particular game where Bull winless run stretches to 11 goals with Arua Hill draw is what you need to know. And so the game was really a very nice one, because if a game ends 1-1, that means that it has not been very easy for really this particular team right there. And so Bull winless run stretches to 11 games with a Arua Hill draw, and so the Bulls winless run in the Star Times Uganda Premier League stretched to 11 games, following a goalless stalemate with that is Arua Hill at Njeru. So Ginger, that is based side last tested a victory in December when they beat Maroon 5-0 at the same venue right there, is what you need to know in the world of sports right there. Dear viewer, let's go for a break, and when we come back we will be able to dive into more stories that we have for you right here on Western Television. Let's go for a break, and we
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.